Today I'm going to show you how to clean and lubricate a car door lock. I'm going to be giving you the benefit of knowledge that I gained during 20 years as a Rover Group door systems engineer. Car door locks tend not to get used very much these days because most cars now come with remote locking. So of course most people use that rather than the door lock themselves. Thus, door locks tend to be a backup system so that you can unlock the car using a key in the event that your remote control runs out of battery or you accidentally run over it or something. My Saab, for example, only has a door lock in the front left-hand door handle. There isn't one in the right-hand door, and the mechanical key is actually hidden inside the remote control, and so it's there purely for emergency use. That's also why in the early days Saab even provided a cover for it. And similarly on this Mark 8 Fiesta, the single door lock is hidden underneath a plastic cover on the door handle that ordinarily you wouldn't see it. The plastic cover of course also protects the lock from rain and dirt and road spray and all the rest of it. But I'm going to show you how to clean and lubricate using this Citroen C1 door lock. The reason being that I have actually quite deliberately left this lock for a long while now without giving it any clean and lubrication, specifically so I could make this video. But if you never clean and lubricate your locks, what's the potential downside? You might argue, well, I never use my locks, I only ever use the remote. Well yes, the point is that these locks are here in case your remote ever fails. And believe me, they do. I see an awful lot of posts on Saab forums about people who've lost their remote and then are struggling to get in the car. That's just one example. What's likely to happen if you've not used the lock for a long time is that it'll have dried out inside and road spray and dirt will have got into it and will have caused it to get sticky and graunchy. If I put this key into the lock, you'll see that I can put the key in, but if I turn it, it just turns back to central. Oh, there you go. It's stuck in the lock. So that's telling me that this lock is dry. It's probably dirty and it needs cleaning and lubricating. If I show you a brand new door lock, this is actually a Valeo door lock made for Rover 200, which of course is long out of production now. If I put the key into it and turn it and release the key, you can see how the key snaps back, and that's how it should be. So first of all, cleaning. You'll see that the door lock has a little flap at the front there, which the key opens before it enters the lock. That flap there is really just a preventative measure to stop water getting in and bringing dirt with it. If you ever use a jet wash to wash your car, then the jet wash is usually capable of pushing that open, and that is one of the primary causes of why door locks get their grease just blasted out of the back. Top tip, if you do use a jet wash to wash your car with, then stick a piece of tape over the door lock before you jet wash. So you will need a solvent cleaner. I actually use brake cleaner for this purpose. Open the flap on the lock and spray inside generously. We're looking to get rid of all the grease and oil that might already be in there and take the dirt out of the back and out of the tumblers, and that'll fall into the door. Don't worry about that. One of the beauties of using brake cleaner is that it dries really quickly, and it's a nice warm day today as well. So after 3 or 4 minutes, put your key in and just work it in and out a couple of times and then start turning the lock. Now all I've done is spray cleaner in this lock, but straight away you can see how that spring back is much better than it was before. I've waited about 10 minutes now, and I'm just going to give it another blast just to make sure that I've got rid of all the contaminants from inside. Work your key in and out again, and locking and unlocking. If you've got the means to do so and you can blow some compressed air through the lock, that'll help to dry it out, but give it about 10 minutes to dry now. Now, lubrication now comes in a 2-step process. Because we've used a solvent degreaser, all the grease and dirt will have gone, and the tumblers are all moving metal on metal. Stage 1 lubrication is something light and fluid that will get into all the tiny little spaces and gaps easily. And for that I'm using this 3-in-1 high performance lubricant with PTFE. It will spread into all the tiny little gaps and the solvents will dry away, leaving behind an oil film and some PTFE. And again, generously fill the lock with lubricant, and then straight away work your key in and out and both directions, and repeat. Now leave that again for about 10 minutes and you can give your door panel a clean while that's drying. You might have to apply some wax or your ceramic coating again, but nothing that we're using today will harm your paintwork. Some OEs and some manufacturers do make a special grease for this purpose, and indeed there are greases specifically developed for door locks. This is one such product, which was a Land Rover product which was brought out specifically for the 38A version of Range Rover when that came out in 1994. Part number STC 2826 consists of a small 2-gram tube of grease and a little applicator that you can use for squeezing it into the door lock. The door locks on that vehicle were made by a company called Holts in Germany. These door locks are made by Valeo in France, as was that Rover 200 door lock. I know this because I engineered the door locks into 38A Range Rover. Now I have seen videos and blogs where people seem to believe that car door locks are lubricated with graphite powder by the manufacturers, and they are advising you to put graphite powder in them. Graphite powder is entirely the wrong thing to put in a car door lock. It's a brilliant lubricant to put in door locks in indoor applications, but not severe environment applications like this. All of the European manufacturers, and definitely Honda and Toyota, fill their locks with grease. But there's no need to go out getting the special product. Ordinary white grease will do. The reason white grease is the best is because it comes with a carrier solvent that will take it into most of the small spaces, although it won't get into every tiny crevice, which is why we put the light lubricant in first. White grease also has the advantage that if you do find you've got to use your key and you get your key covered in white grease and you put it in your pocket or it gets on your clothes, don't worry about it. White grease is non-staining. If you're learning something today and you're getting value from this video, please give it a like down by the title. Thoroughly shake up whatever can of grease you've bought and spray into a cloth. Clear the lines and make sure that the nicely mixed product is all the way through. Put your straw just through the door lock. Generously apply to the interior of the door lock. Wipe off the excess and straight away put your key in and work it both ways. Work it in and out a little as well. Give the grease about 5 minutes for the solvents to dry off and then repeat. This makes sure that the grease gets well worked into the tumblers and the internal rotating mechanism of the lock. An alternative method to the spray grease, which you might find easier, if you can get your hands on an old inkjet refill syringe or buy a 5cc syringe from a local chemist and fill that syringe with white silicone grease and use the nozzle and the syringe to simply inject the grease into the lock. Now if you're doing this on a classic car or on any car that has not got central locking and you would expect to use the key regularly to lock and unlock the car, then finish at that point, leave it. But if, like most modern cars, it's a car that comes with a remote and you would normally use the remote every time you go to the car and the chances of the door lock being used are virtually nil for the next 3, 5 or even 10 years, take the additional step of putting your pipe into the lock and spraying a very generous amount. Withdraw your pipe as you shut the spray off, wipe off the excess and just leave it at that. The white grease that's been sprayed in there will fill up the centre cavity that you would normally put the key into and will help to protect the internals of the lock from water and dirt ingress. This lock should now be good for another 3, maybe even 5 years of non-use, possibly even more, but I would recommend that you perform this action on a door lock every 3 years, particularly if you use car washes or a jet wash. If you got value from this video, please consider supporting the channel and I shall see you next time.